email marketing is going to be taking a huge hit, the biggest hit in the last 10 to 20 years from this iOS 15 update. So let's get right into it. Apple's releasing this privacy update. It's going to look like this for a user of Apple Mail. Basically, you can protect your mail activity or not. And most users don't want to be unprotected. So the way this messaging goes, most people are going to say, yes, protect it. Hide my IP address and my content. I don't want people seeing what I'm browsing, what I'm clicking on, etc. And as a consumer, that's great, right? It's promoting this web experience where people aren't being invasive. The problem is, if you're an email marketer or if you've experienced the issues with the third-party cookies going away and you're big on retargeting and performance metrics and trying to do marketing in a way that you're controlling the movement of a funnel, from the way somebody goes site to site or whatever on your site, that's going away or changing a lot right now with privacy concerns. For the last 10 years, people have crossed the line when it comes to retargeting, when it comes to privacy, when it comes to data leaking. Big companies, independent marketers, tons of people. It's not just one person to blame here. And Apple isn't the only company doing this. It's just they're the first with the email stuff, and they were the first to really put a big stamp on the cookies not being tracked with iOS stuff, at least for that platform. Android's going to follow. They were already doing it with browsers before that. So this is a big hit for email, and the reason is because when people click that button that says protect mail activity, which is going to be most people because they don't want to be unprotected, you can't track who's opening your emails. You can't automate it based on opens, because the open rate is one of the easiest things and the most vital things as an email marketer you can look at. If people aren't opening your emails, you can't get clicks, you can't get tracking, you can't get sales, you can't get opt-ins, you can't run contests, you can't do any of that at the highest level because you can't optimize. There's no A/B testing because you're not going to be able to A/B test your subject line and see because your open rate's going to be off. Or at least that's what a lot of people are thinking. And the issue is that the open rate has been such a big indicator of email success for a long time that now that's going to be a big shift. And it's not just like iOS, that's a big market, but it's not as big as everybody's email, right? And a lot of people have iOS devices. This is probably going to be an update that extends to Android too at some point. I'd be surprised if it didn't. And the thing is, if you don't have your open rate, how do you know if your email's doing well? Well, according to HubSpot and a lot of other big marketing companies and researchers, they say you should look at other metrics, and I agree with this because they're available in the dashboard of whatever tool you're using. Like I use GetResponse, and there's a lot of tools out there that will give you these metrics. But basically, you can see, okay, who's clicking on my links? Who's clicking through the emails? What's the click-through rate? The people who do click in the email, are they clicking on the links? Who's unsubscribing? Is the content turning them off? Is it too much? Is it too little? You can do things like click maps to see how people are clicking on an email. And you can also do like surveying and stuff like that to figure out people's interests, which is a great way to do things because if you do a survey and you actually use email just like you do with your friends and your coworkers, you're going to make it more personal. You're going to be able to tell your brand story. You're going to be able to create a dialogue because that's what email was invented for. It was a way to do communication. It wasn't just like to sell. That's not why email was created. It was a protocol to communicate with people over the internet. And that's still what it is. But people abuse it. And it's really easy because a lot of people tell you, you can make a lot of money. And you can. But try to use it first to just create a dialogue. Talk to people one-to-one. When you send an email, stop worrying about how many people opened it. Or how many people are going to open your subject line, or like why they're going to read your email. Like focus more on like, what can I do to brighten this person's day? What can I do to educate this person? How can I connect with this person? And I'm not talking about your 100 people on your list or your 1,000 or 10,000. I'm talking about one person. Like, what can I do to truly impact one person? And you might think, well, that's not technical at all. How does that help? Well, the thing is, when you write an email, and this is a principle of copywriting, when you write, saying, like, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to one person. When you write in that way, and you write with a purpose to impact one person's life, you're creating a more emotionally driven message. And you're trying to provoke action. And what's going to happen is you're going to start to see more replies come through. You're going to start to see more emotions. And then you're going to start to understand people's pain points. Like, I sent an email, about, like, what's the best part of your day? And somebody replied and said, oh, well, it's seeing my kids. And I said, wow, that's awesome. Wouldn't you like to see your kids more? And they're like, well, yeah, but I have this job and it's hard. And then we start talking about career paths and all these things. And now we're getting toward, maybe taking a course or a coaching opportunity or whatever. And for me, that's great. And for her, that's great, right? Because it's creating this relationship that's going to help both of us. And the thing is, you can do that too with whatever you're doing. Even if you're not trying to monetize your email list, even if it's just for entertainment or whatever. The point is if you don't have your open rate, you don't know how many people are engaging, and you can't send these crazy automations and A/B test all your subject lines. I mean, I've done it all. I've geeked out on all of that stuff. And what you're going to find is this is actually going to simplify email marketing quite a bit. It's going to get rid of all that crap, and it's going to say, hey, why don't you just write something that's compelling, that's simple, friendly, and gets the point across. And you're going to see that, your copy is going to either really affect people in a good way, or it's not. And you're going to be able to improve your copy based on that. If you're not getting replies and you're not getting clicks, and you're not getting traffic to your website, you're not using like Google Analytics to track that, which you should be, that would be a good thing to do. If you're not doing that, you're not seeing those metrics, you're not going to be able to accelerate with email marketing. You're going to be looking at these high open rates of 90%, thinking, oh, I'm doing amazing. I'm, at a god level of email marketing. And really, you're just like everybody else because the metrics are skewed. So what I would say is create clickable, engageable content. Run contests. Run surveys. Run incentive programs. Do interviews. Ask personal questions. Tell stories and ask for stories. Try to create a dialogue. Incentivize people to share things. Because now what you're doing is you're opening up the floodgates for different interactions. You're saying, hey, if you're passionate about, quitting your job and earning from home, click this link. Now you're going to see how many people are interested in that. And you can measure that. And even if your automations are skewed, because maybe that data goes away at some point, you can at least see right now, if people are interested in it, right? And the best is a reply. Reply to this if you are interested in this. If not, unsubscribe. And maybe a lot of people unsubscribe, but you know what? You keep the people that are interested. A list is only as valuable as the people that are actually valuable on that list, right? Are interested in what you're offering, whether it's knowledge, entertainment, a product, etc. So just try to focus on, getting people to websites from your emails, writing things that are engaging, and just really trying to be helpful, entertaining, funny, heartfelt, all the things that make people like other people. Privacy is definitely going to be a focus. Even they say it, Apple's announcement's not the only one. It certainly won't be the last. So, be on the lookout for, Gmail could do this tomorrow. A lot of people are going to do it, and it could just make the open rate obsolete. And it could make a lot of the data obsolete. So now you could just be sending emails with no data. And that sounds scary, but, there was a time where you were sending emails and not looking at that data. You were just sending something to get somebody's attention. This is actually going to put us in the right direction in creating something that's truly captivating. We're not going to see if one subject line performs better than the other and just optimize for that and not really think about the meaning behind it. Hurry versus, don't miss out. They mean the same thing, right? Like at the end of the day, you're trying to do the same thing, right? You're trying to get somebody to do something quickly. How do you say that in a nicer way? How do you say that in a more captivating way? Like instead of hurry or don't miss out, maybe say like, I want you to be happier. I want you to feel something, and this will help you do it. That's real care. That's real human interaction, and it's getting back to what I think advertising is lacking. I haven't been around this industry forever, but what I can say is, a couple of years into this, or less actually, but about a year and a half, is the people who win aren't the ones that know the numbers. Like the people who know, why a certain subject line's at 15% versus 10%. Those aren't the people that win. The people that win are the ones that truly appeal to people's emotions, tell a story, and drive people through a gradual progression through a funnel. Those numbers matter. They don't matter as much as the copy, the emotion, what the product's going to do for that person's life. Though that's how you sell. Reciprocity, progression of a funnel, value ladder, all those fundamentals, those are the things that get you to be successful. It's not how many people clicked on this link. I mean, that matters, but if you're really writing captivating stuff, it's going to do that naturally. It is nice to have the data because then it justifies it. But there was a point in this world where we still had to advertise stuff without a whole lot of tracking, and it still worked. So, don't get your head wrapped around that. This situation is going to evolve. Who knows how many platforms are going to adopt this? Obviously, third-party cookies, all that stuff's changing. What I would say is don't give up on email marketing. I would say diversify, too. Try to do SMS with email, give an incentive to collect phone numbers. That's really good. A contest, a prize, an exclusive interview, an exclusive experience. That way you're incentivizing people to fill out a survey or give you their phone number or whatever. And that way you can put that in your SMS tool and you can start to send texts. And that has really high open rates. And actually there isn't a whole lot of data on that either. So if SMS is working without a whole lot of tracking, your email stuff's going to work too. And I would say whatever your benchmarks are, figure out, okay, if your open rate right now is 20% and it shoots up to 80, right? Start to measure it relatively. Because let's say on day one you get a 90% open rate and the next day you get an 80. Well, 90 is better than 80. So if it's 90, it's probably doing better than 80, even if it's not accurate. If it all goes away, that's going to be irrelevant. But I would say if Gmail keeps the open rate data and all the other providers, then that's a good way to do it. Be relative, but don't get too hung up on the numbers. Really focus on how do I get this person to reply, how do I get this person to be evoked emotionally, and how do I drive people through a story. If you do that, you will still succeed. Take this as an opportunity to innovate. Even if you haven't done, if this is day one of email marketing for you, innovate. Just be creative, This should actually be a fun challenge for a lot of people out there because when you get too stuck in the norms and the patterns, it all gets diluted. All the messages are the same. All the ads are the same. It's like you're walking like a zombie as a consumer. And as a marketer, it's the same, right? And your results start to cost more to get. It's not the best experience either way. So that's why, getting rid of those cookies, getting rid of all that crap that is technically interesting but intrusive to the consumer is really going to increase the creativity. It's really going to widen the gap as to what is going to perform well. And I think it's going to make advertising likable. Because advertising most of the time sucks because it's not done well. And I advertise every day now, but it can be great if you just focus on bringing real emotions to a customer and helping somebody in their life. If you do that, you will succeed in any sales pitch. So hopefully that's helpful. Leave a comment below. If you have a question about email marketing, let me know which one of these tips you're going to use, and be on the lookout for more updates on email marketing and all sorts of other marketing. All right. Thank you so much. Peace out. If you like this video, hit that like button so more people can see it. Jump on that subscribe button and slap that notification bell so you don't miss a single video from me on how to make more money online and live a happier life. There's a video right after this one, so stay tuned for that. Peace out for now.